Welcome back to the Talk Yours podcast. We are already a month into the NBA season, which is really hard to believe. I mean, it seems like it's just gone by super quickly, and we're getting a really good idea of what the league is going to look like this year. We know somewhat what teams are good, what teams are bad. We know what players are good and which players are Ja Morant. So, kicking off, we're going to start with our power rankings this week, as we always do. You can always catch those every week in both this podcast, and we're going to release it in a shorter form. And then we are going to be moving on to a couple different topics. We're going to be talking about the two top finishers at MVP last season and how they've performed to start the year, because both of them have had historic starts to the year. And then we're going to talk about the Rookie of the Year race and if Cooper Flagg might have put himself back in the lead with his performance recently. And then we are going to get to some flightless birds that are playing down in the bayou and talk about maybe what they should do moving forward. So kicking it off, we're going to start with our power rankings. Corby, did you start last week or did I?
I started last week, so you can start this week.
So I'll kick it off this week. Just a couple honorable mentions I want to throw out there. Teams that have performed well, but I did not have in my top 10. The Raptors are currently 9-5 and sitting at number 3 in the East, I believe. They've looked solid thus far. They beat the teams they have to beat. However, I don't feel that their competition this past week was very good. They won the games they had to win. I'll give them all the credit in the world for that. But I really have yet to see them pick up one of those high-quality wins. And also, looking at their roster, Brandon Ingram has looked really good, but his efficiency has been insane to start the year. I don't think that keeps up. So we'll have to see if Scotty Barnes, Emmanuel Quickly, and RJ Barrett can pick up the offensive slack once Ingram's efficiency drops off, even though he's always been an efficient guy. And my next honorable mention, and the team that just missed out on my top 10, is the Miami Heat. The Miami Heat have been really good thus far this year, this last week, or basically last 9 days. They played 2 games against the Knicks, 2 games against the Cavs, and they split both of those little 2-game mini series. They've looked good. They've played good. They've played solid. They just missed out on my top 10 because I still don't fully know what to think of them as a team. And it'll be interesting to see once Tyler Hero comes back how some of the guys like Davion Mitchell, who's taken on more of a playmaking role, will operate within that offense. Now, starting off our top 10, at number 10, I have the San Antonio Spurs. Now, I went back and forth on where I was going to put them given the Wemby injury. And I don't necessarily want to punish a team, but this team is not as good without Victor Wembanyama. Stephon Castle is also hurt now, and I do think that is notable. I think they're going to drop out of the top 10 probably here soon unless De'Aaron Fox just has an insane next month. But the Spurs have been really good thus far. They've been one of the best teams in the NBA. Obviously, lost a couple games to my Warriors recently on the back of some historic performances by Steph Curry, and I still think they're a very good team. I still think if they can stay healthy, they will be a contender come April. So Spurs sit at 10 for right now. Hopefully they can stay there with Wemby out. At number 9, I have the Minnesota Timberwolves. This is the same spot I had them last week. Oh, I dropped the Spurs 6 spots, by the way. The Timberwolves, I have it the same spot I had last week. The Timberwolves just have not moved me in terms of being one of those top teams yet. I think they're a really solid team. I think Julius Randle has looked incredible to start the year. I think Anthony Edwards has looked like Anthony Edwards. The team overall looks good. Dante DiVincenzo has been a really efficient scorer thus far this season. Rudy Gobert is getting back to doing his Rudy Gobert things, regardless of whether you like that or not. He's doing Rudy Gobert things. But the one thing that really highlights to me about the Timberwolves is Anthony Edwards has yet to take that next step to become a true superstar. And for this team to be a top contender, they need to have that true superstar, and that is Anthony Edwards. And he has yet to throw himself into the conversation with guys like Luka Doncic, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Nikola Jokic, even Victor Wembanyama, I would argue, at this point has surpassed him. So Anthony Edwards needs to take that next step. It'll be interesting to see if he catches fire later this season with that injury that might have slowed him down with his start a little bit. But for the now, the Timberwolves sit at 9. And at number 8, a team that we have talked about quite a bit on this podcast, as you guys may be familiar, the Atlanta Hawks sit at number 8 for me. The Atlanta Hawks may not be the most talented team in the top 10. I would argue they're the least talented team overall within my top 10 when you talk about top-heavy talent, especially with Trae Young out. But what they do have that a lot of these teams don't have, oh my goodness, a lot of these other teams don't have is they're gelling right now. This team is really playing well together. They're young. They want to run. They want to get out. They want to play defense. They want to play fast. And that is a complete detour from how they were playing with Trae Young, which was as pretty much a half-court offense. Dyson Daniels has looked like a very solid distributor, and he's taken a definite step back in trying to score the ball, which is a good thing. He's just scoring in the spots that he can find. Jalen Johnson looks like a bona fide number one option. Onyeka Okongwu, my goodness, what a week he just had. I'll let you talk about that more too. But man, he just had an incredible week, and the Hawks right now look like a team like the Heat, but better. They look like a team that just plays like a team, and they're gelling, and they're playing good. They play the Pistons tonight. I'm excited to see that game. At number 7, maybe a little high. Maybe I'm riding a high off the last week. I have the Golden State Warriors. Now, I think that this placement, based on maybe how the Warriors have looked as a team this season, is a little high. But man, Steph just showed us he still got it. 95 points combined in 2 games against the Spurs and 2 wins when they absolutely needed it. Now, you could argue that because he had these incredible performances, the Spurs should be higher because they had, the Warriors needed historic Stephen Curry performances to beat the Spurs, and the Warriors needed that to win, so maybe they should be lower. But damn it, the man's doing the thing that he's doing, and I can't fault him for that, and I can't put the Warriors down for that. And Moses Moody, 32 points against the Pelicans. Now it is the Pelicans, but showing that he has the capability to operate as a great scorer off the bench or in the starting lineup. And I think the Warriors have gotten a little bit of their mojo back. At number 6, I have the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Cleveland Cavaliers have just kind of been doing what the Cleveland Cavaliers do. They're, winning a majority of their games. Donovan Mitchell looks really good. Evan Mobley looks good. They just look a lot like the team from last year, minus maybe, a Ty Jerome and some of those pieces that made them the best team in the East. But at this point, they're hanging around. They're the 2 seed in the East, and I think they're still going to be a very good team. I don't have a ton to say about them. Same as this next team, Los Angeles Lakers. I have them at 5. Down 3 spots from where I had them last week, which was 2. The only reason for that, big loss to the Oklahoma City Thunder, and I feel like if I'm going to rank you as the second best team in the NBA, you have to be able to compete with the Oklahoma City Thunder, and they haven't shown me that they can yet. When LeBron comes back, maybe that'll be different, but we also don't know what LeBron's going to look like in that offense. But still, Lakers are a top 5 team, very good. Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves, white boy summer in LA. At 4th, I have the Denver Nuggets. Now, I've been a little low on the Nuggets this year, but I'm sold. This team is a great team. They're tied with the 8th best net rating in NBA history. Nikola Jokic is having, a start to the season that I can't even put into words. Another 30-point triple-double last night, and just purely incredible. Now, we'll have to see how the others can step up once Nikola Jokic's hot streak maybe ends. I can't imagine he does this for the rest of the season. But if he does, it'd be incredible. But we'll see when Jamal Murray's got more on his shoulders, what he can do, what Cam Johnson can do, and Christian Brown obviously out. I think him coming back will be a boost to their offense, but that won't be until January. So interesting next couple months for the Nuggets. At number 3, this is a team that I've been high on, you haven't been high on. Well, I'm interested to see where you have them ranked. I have the Houston Rockets. They have the best offensive rating in the NBA, which is incredible considering how much people were worried about their struggles offensively. They also shoot the highest percentage from 3 of any team in the NBA. Granted, they are taking less threes than anybody else in the NBA. So less threes, better efficiency, probably go hand in hand. But Alfred Şengün is coming to his own as the definitive second option on that team. Kevin Durant is starting to score like the first option. Amen Thompson has taken kind of a tertiary role as a scorer, but he's been a great point of attack defender, and he's also taken on a distributor role. Him and Şengün kind of do this like tandem distributor thing depending on how they want to run the offense. And the Rockets are looking really good. Jabari Smith Jr. has actually looked much improved to start this year, starting to show off some of that talent he had as a shooter. And I think the Rockets are just going to continue to get better and better as a team. At number 2, shouldn't be a surprise to anybody. I have the Detroit Pistons, 12-2. They're winning without Cade Cunningham. Their depth looks great. Jenkins looks great. Stewart looks great. And Jalen Duren looks like an all-star. There has been a revolution. Jalen Duren's offensive game, we always knew he had the defense. He had the rebound. He had the physical skills. But the fact that he's scoring now almost 20 points a night, and he's shooting above 80% from the free throw line, or he has been for most of the season. I mean, how do you stop that? A physically dominant guy at the rim who can shoot 80% from the free throw line? That's hard to stop for sure. And he's a great complementary piece next to Cade. And at number 1, I don't have a ton to say about them, but it's the Oklahoma City Thunder. They're 14-1. They're the defending champs, and they have the best net rating in NBA history. And their second best player hasn't played yet. This is the best team in the NBA, and everyone should be afraid of what they're going to look like once J-Dub comes back.
Okay, I like it. All right, let me get to my top 10. I'll have 2 honorable mentions. I will have the Knicks and the Spurs. The Spurs didn't make it. I will say it wasn't it didn't have too much to do with the injuries. I just don't think they're that good of a team, and especially with the injuries now of Wemby. Stephon Castle has been missing. He missed a couple games. I think he's back now. Dylan Harper is obviously out. It really is just like De'Aaron Fox and friends right now, so it's only going to get worse. I just went ahead and had them unranked. I think their schedule has been pretty easy so far. Other team is the New York Knicks. I had the Knicks at 2 last week, and I had a serious change of mind. Some of that could be with due to the fact that OG and Brunson are now hurt. And some of it was just me kind of realizing that, you know what, I'm human. I'll admit my mistakes. I don't think the Knicks should have been 2. They probably should have been around like 5 or 6. All right, that was a quick intermission. At number 10, I have the Miami Heat. I don't even want to talk about them too much. I still think they're a really good team. I still think Spo is the best coach in the league. They went 1-2 last week. They are down from the number 7 spot. Andrew Wiggins hasn't been as great in these last 3 games. Hawkins hasn't been as great. They are declining a little bit. Are they going to be a top 10 team by the end of the year? Probably not, but let's just enjoy them while they're still here. At number 9, I have the Golden State Warriors. They played 4 straight away games, went 3-1, beat the Spurs back to back. Incredibly impressive. Stephen Curry played amazing. This team's really good. They're better than what their record says. Steve Kerr was right about, when they lost to the OKC Thunder. It really woke him up. It made him start swapping out the lineups. And whether you like it or not, Cam, Jonathan Kuminga is now, he did get hurt, but he was benched in the game that he got hurt. And they've been playing better because Moses Moody has been getting more of a shot. And he's been, putting up games like 19 points, 30 points, 25 points. He's been absolutely amazing. And then I feel like they probably do need to use those guys that they have that kind of got them that championship 4 years ago, like a Gary Payton II. I think he should probably get more minutes. Horford has that pedgree. Overall, I think Steve Kerr, as much as I give him a lot of shit, I really do give Steve Kerr a lot of shit, but he has been pretty good with adjusting. Draymond still unleashed, we can maybe talk about that fan interaction that happened the other night where he got called Angel Reese. But besides that, Steve Kerr has actually been doing a good job. I'm going to give all the credit to him. At number 8, my favorite team, the Atlanta Hawks, went 3-0 last week. A couple of unimpressive wins, but we still looked impressive in those wins. And then we beat the Phoenix Suns, who maybe they're not the best team. They've never made any of our top 10s, but they were on a 5-game win streak. They were on a heater. And it was a close game. The Suns were up 20, I think, going into like the 4th quarter. And then we cut it to 13. Reza Shai gets hurt, unfortunately. It's a scary fall. And by the way, a fall where he falls. I forget which Suns player it is, but he looks at Reza Shai like, oh, like what just happened? And then the other Suns players are like, let's push the pace. He's hurt, which is like incredibly insane to me. Quick side tangent. In European basketball, the referees will stop the game if a scary fall happens. That doesn't happen in the NBA. I don't know why. Let's be humane about this. Onyeka Okongwu has been absolutely amazing. I went to the Hawks-Jazz game because we live in Utah. What was that? Probably like 4 or 5 days ago. And Okongwu kept just shooting threes. He just kept shooting and shooting and shooting. He doubled his career high in not only 3-pointers made, but 3-pointers attempted in a game in the one game in the year that I decided to go to. So I absolutely love that. He is a legitimate stretch 5 with Porzingis being hurt, with Trae Young being hurt. Dyson Daniels has more confidence with Trae being out. Jalen Johnson will be an all-star at this rate. Unless like Trae comes back, in the next couple games somehow and then messes everything up. Jalen Johnson will probably be an all-star. Team has been absolutely amazing. I love it because I predicted them to be somewhere in this range, somewhere this good. And I was so disappointed to start the year, but they've been amazing. At number 7, I have a team who's been just as amazing, except they beat the Hawks 2-0 so far in the regular season. I have the Toronto Raptors. They are 9-5. They have been killing it. They have a bunch of this is another, the East is filled with these kind of teams where teams are just bought in. Like, it's a bunch of role players and they're just fighting. You talk about the Heat, you talk about the Hawks, you talk about the Raptors. Everyone is doing their part on the Raptors. They have a rookie in Colin Murray-Boyles who's been playing amazing. Maybe not statistically, but he's been playing amazing defense. Grady Dick's been great off the bench. Overall, Scotty Barnes has actually been kind of coming back to his all-star self, which, Scotty Barnes is a really fun player to watch when he's on, so I'm definitely happy about it. Brandon Ingram is looking like a good acquisition for them. And then Jakob Poeltl came back, and he's actually been really good since he's been back. Because before, even though I was praising Colin Murray-Boyles, no rookie center should be starting for a team that has playoff aspirations. At number 6, Cleveland Cavaliers. I've been pretty low on them throughout the entire year, but they're slowly, steadily coming back. Darius Garland has been playing a couple of games. They went 3-1 last week at home. Oh yeah, the Raptors last week went 4-0. I don't know if I said that. It wasn't too impressive of wins, but it's still wins nevertheless. Cavs have been amazing. Lonzo Ball has like very slowly been getting that shot back because in the first couple weeks he was doing good playmaking wise and a little bit of defense, but like he could not shoot the ball. I think his first game of the season he went over 7 from 3 or something. I could be wrong about that, but that's pretty insane. But yeah, Cavs. I mean, this is the team that we thought they'd be. I had them as the number 1 seed. I believe you did as well. We thought they'd be a top 5 team, and they're slowly crawling back into that. Donovan Mitchell, definitely an all-star, if not an all NBA player this year. As I mean, he will deserve. At number 5, I have the Los Angeles Lakers. They went 2-1. They lost a game that they should have lost in losing to OKC. They won a game that they should have won, beating the Hornets, and then they had a good win against the Bucks, where Giannis, played the whole game. Unfortunately, he's injured now. Hopefully, he'll come back next game, but he did leave last game halfway through the game. But yeah, overall, Lakers just kind of cruised. I do have them down 1 from last week, but it's not really their fault. It's just these top 4 teams, I just have to have them this high. But the Lakers are contenders. LeBron James should be coming back, if not tonight. Then LeBron will be coming back on Sunday. But overall, my biggest note of the Lakers being this good so far is DeAndre Ayton last week. DeAndre Ayton has been amazing, putting up like 20, 25-point games. And you kind of just realize that, yeah, when Ayton has a legitimate point guard in a Chris Paul, a Luka Doncic, even an Austin Reeves is closer to any kind of point guard that the Portland Trailblazers had the last 2 years. No disrespect to Scoot Henderson, but he's too young to be elevating Ayton. Ayton's motor goes up with it. When Ayton is winning games, his motor goes up that way. Now, is that like a mentally weak thing that when things are getting rough, he gets mentally out of it? Yeah, you can say that. But it's not going rough. It's going great. So that's why DeAndre Ayton has been looking amazing. That's why he has been making those kind of plays that you want to see out of a center. And they got him on a minimum contract. So that's so good for the Lakers. At number 4, the Houston Rockets went 3-0 last week. All home games. I'm not going to say, too tough of games because the Orlando Magic are without Paulo. I forget. I think they had a game against like the Wizards. But they're showing that, yeah, they can win some games. Amen Thompson has been great. Reed Shepherd is looking like not an NBA bust. He's looking like a legitimate 6th man of the year. Not of the year, but he's looking like a legitimate 6th man, which is great to see because I was pretty low on him going into the season. So he's proving me wrong right now. Yeah, Men's been great. Sengun. Kevin Durant is finally taking more shots. I think he had a couple of different games last week or in the last 2 weeks where he had like 35 points, 30 points and stuff like that. So if he can play like a star player, like an all NBA player, then yeah, even without Fred VanVleet, this team is a contender to watch out for. At number 3, I have the Denver Nuggets. They could have even been higher if they beat the Chicago Bulls last night, but unfortunately that didn't go so great. 3 away games that they played, and they were still winning. Nikola Jokic has been doing super impressive things. Unfortunately, Christian Brown has been hurt, and he will be hurt for the next 6 weeks. But I think they have a player who should be able to fill his shoes in Tim Hardaway Jr. Now, last night they decided to start Peyton Watson over Tim Hardaway Jr. And obviously Cameron Johnson came back. But when Tim Hardaway Jr. started 2 games ago or 3 games ago, he dropped 26 points, and it was the most confident looking 26 points ever. I do think Tim Hardaway Jr.'s mold is a 6th man, but maybe him playing as many minutes next to Jokic as possible is good for his game versus playing next to a guy like Jamal Murray. Because I think that's when the Bulls went on the run is when it was Jamal Murray and then the entire bench unit, which I'm not a big fan of that. But yeah, they've been amazing. At number 2, the Detroit Pistons. Somehow their overall record is 12-2 or 11-2 or something. They went 3-0 last week, and they've been doing it without Cade Cunningham and without Jalen Duren. Jalen Duren played last game, but missed his previous 2 or 3. Jalen Duren has been an all-star. He's been he is that rebounding monster who can finish inside, but he's been creating his own shots sometimes. He has a handle. That 7-footer who has an actual handle, I'm not saying he should be trying to use it every possession, but it's scary, and he has even more potential to be even better. Not only throughout the season, but he has potential to be better throughout his entire career, which I think is great. Jenkins is a guy I never even heard his name before the season, and he has been absolutely balling. I picked him up on my fantasy team, and he's been doing amazing. And overall, the Pistons look bought in. It's another one of those okay, Cade Cunningham has played most of the games, but when Cade Cunningham isn't playing in, it's just 10 guys, and they're bought in. They're playing defense, and whoever's night it is whoever's night it is. No one's trying to play hero ball. It's a classic Eastern Conference team. Are they contenders? Are they not? I don't know. I'm not really going to answer that. But when it comes to can they get the number 1 seed in the East, It's pretty likely. I mean, looking at this, I mean, their schedule hasn't been too hard, and Cade Cunningham is that kind of guy where Cade can play better. Cade has not been, like, obviously he attracts the defense and gets his teammates open, but he hasn't been the most efficient this season. He can be more efficient, and that's scary for the Eastern Conference. And at number one, I'm not going to say too much. 4-0 on the week, OKC Thunder. We're going to talk about Shai a little bit more later on, but yeah, he's undebatably a top 2 player in the world. He hasn't been playing fourth quarters because he hasn't needed to. J-Dub's been out. Chet has missed like half the games. Casey Wallace has missed some games. Lou Dort has missed most of the games. This team is scary. And they don't even need to be healthy because they are 14 guys deep. They are finding random white boys who played for like community colleges who could just go out there and hoop. I mean, Mark Dayton, that's a crazy man. And Sam Presti, that guy needs to be like studied or like arrested for like his amount of knowledge that he has when it comes to these 18-year-old gentlemen. Yeah. But that is all I have for my power rankings. What do you think?
Very solid. We had a very similar list. I think this is the most similar list we've had since honestly since our standings predictions at the very beginning of the year. The only differences were you had the Heat top 10 and I had them 11. You had the Spurs like 11 or 12 and I had them 10. I had the Warriors 7, you had them 9. I had the Raptors as an honorable mention, you had them 7. That's probably the biggest difference.
Yeah, the difference was position, the Raptors.
Which I'm not even mad at your ranking. I mean, the Raptors certainly deserve to be a top 10 team. I guess maybe I'm just low on them given what we thought about them before the season started, which is that fair? Is that not fair? I can't tell you, but...
Yeah, because I think right now I have them 3rd in the East, but I think my prediction was 6th in the East. So I think like that little thing of me predicting them to be that high is why I give them that little benefit of the doubt. I mean,
I thought I had them 7th even, so I or 8th or hovering around there, so maybe a little bit lower,
but not too much. No, yeah, it's pretty well. I feel like we can take wins and losses a certain way in the first 3 or 4 weeks, but yeah, once we get 1, 2, 3 months in, then it's like.
I mean, it's the problem with having a like predetermined opinion is that everything is going to either kind of confirm or deny your opinion, and if something like goes against what your opinion was, you're probably going to pay attention to it a little bit less.
Yeah, it's just confirmation bias.
Yeah, just human nature,
but eventually you have to ignore that confirmation bias of me putting the Pistons at 2 when I had them as like the 6th seed.
But yeah, 6 through 1, we were almost the exact. We have all the same teams 6 through 1. We have the same spot for the Cavs, Lakers, Pistons, and Thunder. The only difference is we switched the Nuggets and Rockets, and that's probably just because I had the Rockets going to the finals. Like I was higher on the Rockets to start the season, so it makes sense I'm higher on them now. And I was lower on the Nuggets to start the season, and it makes sense that I'm lower on them now. So.
So who? Okay, let me look at your list. Let me pull that up. Who do you think is the most fake? What's the most fake ranking on your list? Like what rankings do you know? It will be nowhere near like this at the end of the year.
It's a good question.
Do you think the Pistons are legit? Do you think they can stay here the whole year?
I don't. So that just feels so disrespectful to call that the fake ranking. In terms of where I think people will move the most by the end of the year. Yeah, probably the Pistons. And that's only because maybe I just have a high degree of confidence in where these teams sit right now because this actually looks like a pretty good ranking overall. I could just see the Pistons and Cavs switching, honestly. Like I could see Pistons being 6 in my power rankings and Cavs being 2. If the Cavs go on a tear, like I think they probably will at some point this year once people are fully healthy and they get their legs back under, which they're fully healthy now, but they still got to play together a little bit. The Spurs are just such a weird team, dude. Like the Spurs are 1 at 10 where I'm like, they could be top 3 by the end of the year, or they could drop below like top 15, depending on what happens. I really don't know.
Because right now, Spurs are the 7th best team in the Western Conference for you. I don't see them dropping too much because right now the Utah Jazz are 10. So if they do drop, it might be like 1 or 2 spots. Which, by the way, the Utah Jazz are the 10 seed in the West. I don't like that. Yeah. I don't.
And the other one, I hate to kind of say it, Warriors at 7.
You think they could drop out?
That might be my other fake ranking. Like I could see the Warriors being a borderline play-in team for sure, or even a play-in team this year.
Yeah.
And it's not really a disrespect to the Warriors. The West is just really tough. And overall, we'll see what Moses Moody does. I do like Moses Moody a lot, but it's like you're getting contributions from these guys like Will Richard and Moses Moody, who in their career, like Moses Moody's gotten better every year, but he's never been a 14-point per game guy. Even though I told you, I feel like he could be an 18-point per game guy on a worse team. So I have confidence in Moses Moody. But how long does Will Richard keep this up for? Does Steph need to drop 45 or 49 every night for them to win when they're not playing the Pelicans? Is Jimmy Butler going to be an effective 20-plus point per game scorer? What does Jonathan Kuminga look like? Honestly, at this point, and I hate to say it, because I have been the Jonathan Kuminga guy. I've been the Jonathan Kuminga believer, but maybe you do trade him now after everything that happened. Where does he fit on this roster if Moses Moody is a better fit? Which Moses Moody has always been the better fit, but Kuminga has been more talented. And my thing was I always wanted Kuminga to find that space within the Warriors roster. But now you got guys like Will Richard. You've got Moses Moody. You obviously want to play Gary Payton minutes because he's a really valuable bench player.
You want to play Buddy Hield? Buddy Hield's defense has been great.
Buddy Hield, ever since Jimmy Butler got there, has been, and obviously it's beginning of the season, Buddy Hield. We never know what's going to happen, but Buddy Hield has been playing his ass off, and their center rotation looks pretty solid. They kind of just have 3 centers that they can throw out there depending on what matchup they want to play. They can even run Draymond at the center if they want to. But between Post, Trace Jackson-Davis, and Horford's kind of like he's like a hybrid between the two, really, because Post is a pure stretch big and Trace Jackson-Davis is a pure roller and defensive big, and Al Horford's kind of just like the mixture between the two. Where does Kuminga fit in that? I don't know if he does.
I don't know if he does. It sucks that y'all kept him even for half a season, because the longer you hold him, it's like you don't want to trade him right before. I'm not saying Steph is near retirement, but Steph only has a couple years, you'd think, in the NBA, like 2 or 3. Kuminga would be the kind of guy who, once Steph leaves, that's when he takes over.
At this rate, I don't know how long Steph has in the league.
Because, he is playing amazing. And
he's playing incredible. But the one thing I will say, Draymond Green got on his podcast recently and responded to people talking about Jonathan Kuminga not buying into the Warrior system and being like a quote-unquote asshole, as Draymond put it, and being difficult. And he very strongly defended Jonathan Kuminga, very without any sort of compromise, was basically making fun of people, going, oh my God, he wasn't the huge asshole you guys all made him out to be. He actually buys into the system more than anybody on the team. And Draymond Green, as we know, when he has problems with teammates, is not someone who necessarily keeps that stuff under wraps. So if Draymond Green is saying that Jonathan Kuminga is buying in, I believe it. So maybe Jonathan Kuminga is willing to take on that bench role. I don't know. It feels conflicting because I feel like Jonathan Kuminga's actions have shown that he feels disrespected by the Warriors. But also, if Draymond Green's saying he's buying into the system,
then you hope he's buying in. And he already did get paid, so I don't think Kuminga, even if his role isn't ideal, I don't think he's going to overreact like he would before getting paid.
I mean, genuinely, I think the best role for him on this team might be as their their 6th man, but he's got to run the offense as the 6th man. I think that's always been his best role, and I feel like he can do that from a bench role better than a lot of guys in the NBA from that wing position. And they have Pods coming off the bench. So see how Pods and Kuminga play together in extended minutes as the 2 guys, but
it also is, no matter what, even if both are starting, you want one of Stephen Curry or Jimmy Butler on the court, and you kind of want Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler can just be a guy who sits in the corner, lets the young guys do their thing, but you kind of want him always being in the offense.
You do, and Kuminga's 3-point shot has gotten a lot better this year, so Kuminga can play more off ball than he has been able to in years past. But yeah, Warriors are another team that I'm I want to be high on them. I really do. But I could easily also see them Steph had 95 combined points or 94 combined points over 2 days. That's just not going to happen that often in the season. No. And yeah, they beat the Spurs.
I will say, without Castle, you take away Castle, the Spurs' perimeter defense isn't as great.
But they had Castle when they were playing the Warriors.
In both games?
Mm-hmm. He got hurt in the it was the game before they played the Grizzlies.
Oh, okay.
So,
yeah.
But, yeah, what about you? What are your teams? So, looking at your list.
So, for me, it is the Toronto Raptors. But I will say the Toronto Raptors can be, so right now, Pistons, Cavs, Raptors. So like, that's the third best team in the East. I still think they can easily be like the fifth best team in the East.
Yeah.
So that's like right under the top 10, maybe in 11, 12, or 13 at the end of the year. I still think, yeah, they'll get a playoff spot for sure, especially with the Orlando Magic being as bad as they are right now at only 500, which isn't too far down because we're still early in the season. But the Raptors are right now looking better than the Magic. So I think they'll still be good, but it won't be top 10. And then, I mean, personally, I think the Cavs will be the 1 seed. But you know what? Yeah, the Pistons will be. I think it's same as you. I think I'd swap because we have the Cavs and Pistons same spots. I'd swap Cavs and Pistons by the end of the year. But I still think that it's very possible. Yeah, the Pistons are a top 2 seed in the East. Because you might look at some more talented rosters like the Knicks or whatever, but the Knicks aren't as deep. And with these, OG Anunoby is hurt and he's an injury-prone player. Brunson is hurt and he's kind of injury prone if you looked at his career. And then Karl-Anthony Towns is kind of injury prone. He's been healthy for the most part this season, but they don't have the depth that the Pistons do apparently. Because apparently the Pistons are 14 deep, which I didn't think so before the season. But hey, they are. And so besides those two, I think the Hawks is realistic. I even think like even though the Lakers I probably had is like where did I have the Lakers? It was probably around like 7. Looking at how they're playing, I mean, it is Luka Doncic, LeBron's coming back. It's realistic they could be a top 5 team in the NBA.
For sure.
Warriors, I could say, yeah, but the Warriors are going to drop from like 9 to 11 for me. So it's not that big of a drop.
Yeah.
You know? And then the Miami Heat will probably go down a couple of spots. Yeah. I mean, because we'll just see because I mean, they have been playing without Bam. That's the one thing I will give credit to the Heat for. Bam has been hurt. But also, I am high on Tyler Hero. I think Tyler Hero is a super talented player. How much better will Tyler Hero make this Heat roster?
Yeah.
You'd hope it's a lot, but then
You'd
again,
hope.
they kind of lose a little bit of identity.
Davion has been playing great as their point guard. I mean, he doesn't bring the offensive capability that Tyler Hero does, but he does distribute the ball really well. And he's also obviously off night, plays amazing defense, you know? But yeah, it'll be interesting. It's
Then again, Tyler Hero is a very good off-ball player. He's not going to take away.
He is. It's just always a consideration of how fit, because we were just talking about this earlier with a different player. Sometimes less is more, and sometimes more is not better.
I might be like a sick and evil person because part of me was thinking about Tyler Hero. I'm like, Hero would be a better fit on the Hawks than Trey. He really would. You know, it's still not an ideal fit.
He would, but I don't see a world where the Heat would ever.
We would not swap those two. Yeah. No, we wouldn't. But I will say he's more of an off-ball player. He's a better, at least, defender than Trey.
Oh yeah, he definitely, like, you guys would do better with that type of guy who's not as like heliocentric.
But he can still get a bucket because we do need some sort of star.
Like
bucket
honestly, like a Zach LaVine would be a great fit for the Hawks.
I think so.
You know,
but no, the Sacramento Kings watched 30 games of the Chicago Bulls one season and said, "Yeah, let's replicate that exact roster."
Yeah.
But yeah, those are our power rankings. Stay tuned for next week. We'll be one of these every week. If you want to watch the previous ones, you'll see how not bad the rankings were, because at the time they made sense. But like looking back,
they changed a lot.
I definitely didn't have the Bulls at number 2 weeks ago. That's great. My number 2 from last week and the week before that are not on my current top 10.
That's the one thing I do feel okay about, is generally I feel like I've maintained a solid top area of my,
except the Nuggets.
Rankings, except I was low on the Nuggets and I was a little high on the Warriors to start the season. My bad.
Those are bad.
But yeah.
But yeah, we can go ahead and talk about Nikola Jokic and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander have been absolutely amazing.
Yeah,
easily by far. Like, I understand people were saying at first, oh, is Wemby the best player in the league after those first like 5 games of him dominating? No, it is these two. And there is a huge gap, because there were a couple players in that conversation. There was a Luka Doncic.
Hold on. There's not a huge gap.
Oh, okay. There's Giannis.
Okay.
Is that here?
Let's at least give Giannis his due respect. He's been on that same level as those guys to start the year.
Okay, so I will say that, but when it does come to best player in the world, yes, it is between those 3. When it comes to who is the MVP, it probably is just between Shai and Jokic.
Right. I don't think Giannis has had the team success, and I mean, I don't know that he will. So
no, and I even think like Cade Cunningham, like, yeah, the Pistons are amazing, but the stats just don't compare. You didn't want to talk about this because you thought that it was so obvious that Jokic is the best player in the world, and that. Do you think the same thing for MVP? that he runs away with MVP with these kind of numbers. You know what? Let me just go ahead and remind people. So the numbers that Nikola Jokic is averaging, I mean, we'll put it on the screen, but I have to look it up.
I can show you right now. I've got. Why did I go Australian there for a second? What the fuck? I've been watching too much Dyson Daniels, dude. Holy hell. Okay. He's averaging 40. No. He's averaging 29 points per game, 11 assists per game, which leads the league, 13.4 rebounds, which leads the league, 2 steals, 1 block, and he's 3 turnovers, so 11 steals to 3 turnovers. On splits of 65, 40, 86.
That's so insane. What is that true shooting wise?
I have it up. I had it right here. 74%.
And that's probably got to be like, top 10 in the league, top 5, and that's averaging 30 points per game. Mm-hmm. Jokic has been on a tear. I just so you do have him though. Like if you had to pick an MVP right now, would you pick Nikola Jokic?
Yes.
I'm gonna give an argument that's a little different.
Yeah, no, give your argument.
Because we if you guys haven't kept up with the pod, which most people probably haven't, we started the pod again probably like 6 or 8 months ago, and that's at the time when MVP was a big area of topic of Jokic versus Shai. I've always been Team Shai. He's always been Team Jokic. And I think this is just one of those stubborn things. Skip Bayless versus Shannon Sharp. I hope not.
I hope not. I hope it doesn't end like that.
Oh, I mean, I hope it doesn't end like that, but the actual just LeBron versus not LeBron kind of thing.
Yeah.
Shai hasn't played in 9 of the 14 fourth quarters that have been possible. I'm not gonna any argument I make for Jokic or for Shai, I'm not gonna like knock against Jokic. I'm not gonna be like, well, Jokic shouldn't be playing more fourth quarters. If Jokic was really good, his team would be blowing teams out by the fourth quarter, and he wouldn't play.
Also, Shai's also played 2 double overtime games this season, so
he has done that. I mean, even with that being said, though, his minutes per game, even with the overtimes, because of him not playing the fourth quarter, isn't very high.
What's his minutes per game?
31, I believe. 31 minutes per game.
Jokic's is 34.
So, I mean, that is 3 minutes more per game.
3 minutes. That accounts for 82. That accounts for the statistical difference.
Shai has been the best scorer in the NBA. If you want to argue, I mean, because Jokic has the efficiency. And if you want to say Jokic, sure. If you want to say Giannis, sure. Because Giannis, I think technically speaking, might be the...
I mean, Giannis is averaging more points per game on technically better efficiency with field goal percentage. But I will give you Shai because what is remarkable about Shai is that as a 6'6" guard, his scoring moves are just as unstoppable as these 7-foot centers and 6'11" power forwards. That have the physical dominance, right? His mid-range is insane, and his ability to get to the basket is great. And obviously, whether you hate it or love it, his ability to draw fouls is second to none in the NBA right now. And the fact that at 6'6", you can be just as unstoppable as these, dominant centers puts you in a rare air. I mean, in terms of guys in NBA history, you're talking about Michael Jordans and Kobe Bryants and people like that when you're talking about those guys. So. Yeah. All due credit to him.
I mean, he's been playing amazing. When Shai is on the court, they are a plus 19 net rating, which is actually insane. I believe Jokic is a plus 17, so it is pretty close. But all of Shai's teammates, all of the great teammates for the most part, have been hurt. I mean, you could say that consistently. Who has been Shai's second best teammate this season? It's been Isaiah Hartenstein.
But Isaiah Hartenstein has been good.
Or AJ Mitchell. You could argue either of them because they have both been amazing. Hartenstein has been amazing. Don't get me wrong. But this is also an Isaiah Hartenstein who arguably was played off the court in the playoffs in some moments.
This is also an Isaiah Hartenstein who's averaging 13 and 11 on 70% shooting with a steal and a half and a block per game.
And I mean, Shai's only making that a lot easier because Isaiah Hartenstein, he's not, unless it's getting it off the glass, he's not creating his own shot.
No.
He's making a below average offensive team look like the best offense in the NBA when he's on the court.
Chet has played, I know you say consistently, Chet has played in 11 of their 15 games.
Has it been a whole 11?
Yeah. So Chet has played in 11 of the 15 games and is averaging 20 points on 59% shooting and 40% from three, with 8 rebounds, about a block and a half, and half a steal per game.
Chet shooting 59 from the field with 40 from three. The things Shai's doing is amazing. That's all I'm going to say. Because if you think this is...
Now, do you feel like that's all off of his creation, though? Because a lot of the time I feel like Chet, I mean, sometimes it's catch and shoot, but he's honestly just about a bucket right now. Like, he's
Chet can definitely get his own bucket.
Great,
like, don't get me wrong, but most
and
of
AJ
it
Mitchell
is...
can get his own bucket, and Aaron Wiggins can get his own bucket, and Cason Wallace can get his own bucket. Like,
I like showing actual stats. So let me pull up the OKC like player stats. But I do think, yes, Chet has created his own shot. He can create his own shot and everything. But I just personally feel like when I'm watching Shai on the court, it is either someone's getting wide open or Shai is just actually scoring on him with the elite efficiency. Like, obviously, Shai isn't 74% true shooting, but I would only assume
no,
it's
really good. I mean, his shooting percentages are 53 from the field, 38 and a half, basically 39 from three, and 90 from the line.
Which, by the way, that 39 jump is incredible because 2 seasons ago, he was below average from 3-point.
Right. So, I mean, he's having an incredible season. I mean, you look at like a lot of the advanced metrics. Right now, if he were to finish the season right now, he would have the second highest box plus minus ever, right? Now you're talking about guys, Stephen Curry, Michael Jordan, and LeBron and Jokic, right? These are guys that have incredible statistical seasons, and Shai is right there with those guys because of his efficiency. He's having an incredible season. I mean, like, I will not knock that.
And then let me tell you this stat. I'm going to take a screenshot because I'll probably put it in the video. And these stats aren't like, just because this stat exists doesn't mean it's 100% like, there is coincidences. When Shai is on the court, the OKC Thunder have a 125 offensive rating and a 106. Yeah, 106 defensive
which would
rating.
be a 19 net rating.
19 net rating. And then offensive rating wise, I think, now obviously, because I'm going to say, I think the highest offensive rating ever might be like 123 or something like that. But obviously, like if it was let's say it was the Houston Rockets with James Harden, if it's with Harden on the court, it would have been higher. So that's not really fair to say, right?
Right.
But that's still a ridiculous, 125 offensive rating. When Shai is off the court, they are still a +5 net rating, but it is a 101 defensive rating and a 106 offensive rating. So the offense actually is not that good at all with Shai off the court.
Right.
Now you can say the defense got better, so obviously they're replacing Shai with a guy like Cason Wallace or like Dort, or you know what I mean? So the defense is getting better. So I'm not saying Shai, it's not a +30 swing or anything, because Nikola Jokic is, I'll even just pull up the stats right now.
Where are you finding the on-off numbers?
It is, free plug real quick, pbpstats.com.
pbpstats.com. No, not soccer. God, you start putting in random letters and all of a sudden it wants you to look at soccer. Like,
everyone just wants it. So Jokic is pretty much 18 offensive rating. So when he's on the court, the team is 128 offensive rating. When he's off the court, their team is 110 offensive rating. So obviously big gap. Defensively, 110 with Jokic, 114 without Jokic. So defense actually gets worse, which I can only imagine because their backup center is Jonas Valanciunas. Which I've never seen.
Which maybe they'll shift more to Deron Holmes as he gets healthy.
Hopefully they might do some Aaron Gordon at the 5. I'm not a big fan.
He's kind of been a healthy scratch that Deron Holmes has, so in some of their games, which is interesting.
But I mean, then again, we'll see. Deron Holmes, even if they keep Jonas Valanciunas, I'm not going to lie, a -4 net rating with Jokic off the court is actually a win. That is not the worst. I mean, look at their record. They are like 12-3. So
yeah,
that is overall a win. But I do think that Shai has been giving his teammates way easier of looks. I'm not going to give all the credit in the world to Shai, but I kind of want to. I mean, but really, they've been winning all of these games in the first 3 quarters. And the fourth quarter is when guys like Chet, now they'll only play like 4 or 5 minutes, but that's when the Chet and the hard signs, they'll come in the last part of the fourth quarter, clean it up, and then the third stringers will come out for the last 6 minutes of the game. But it's just the fact that these games, the first 2 games were like both overtime games and it wasn't close. But ever since then, these games have not been close. When my favorite team plays the OKC Thunder, I don't even want to watch the game because of how good they are, because of how it is annoying. I will say, as someone who respects Shai, I think he's the best player in the world. is annoying watching him when it's your favorite team. You get mad at him.
It really
especially
is.
mad.
What if you took a team like the Miami Heat and you gave them a top 2 player in the NBA?
Yeah.
That's what the Oklahoma City Thunder are. They are a team that completely 100% buys into their identity, and they play incredible team defense, and they've brought in a bunch of guys who are all about playing for what the team needs, even though, I mean, you look at some of these guys, AJ Mitchell, Cason Wallace, Aaron Wiggins, these are guys that play off the bench that are really talented, especially as scorers that we have seen at different points in time, especially AJ Mitchell. I mean, that guy is really like, I mean, part of me is like, man, he's incredible in OKC, and part of me is like, I hope he gets out of OKC because I want to see him in a bigger role. And Aaron Wiggins saved basketball, so I mean,
Yeah.
no,
Everyone can save basketball.
Yeah.
I love that ongoing joke.
but yeah, Shai is doing incredible things this year. I don't want to knock that at all.
He is. Shai's been incredible. I just personally don't think you can, like, you have to give the benefit of the doubt. And I understand Jokic has been amazing, and you use your eyes to watch basketball. You can't just use stats and awards and all
Right.
this. But the guy who just won MVP, whether you agree with it or not, because you thought Jokic should have won it, the guy who just won MVP, just won Finals MVP, was the scoring leader last year, comes in here, is 14-1, doesn't have to play these fourth quarters, is the second best scorer in the NBA because it probably is Giannis, and then Shai, and then Jokic. That's probably the order I'd go.
Mm-hmm.
Does all this, and you say he's not the best player in the world. Like, I think historically, we'll look back 20 years from now, and obviously so many things will be out of context 20 years from now.
Mm-hmm.
But if the narrative going on, if people look at these blogs, these YouTube videos, these podcasts, these websites, whatever, and see that Jokic is the best player in the world after Shai is doing all this, we will look at everyone like, were they crazy? How did Steve Nash win two MVPs in a row? How did so much context will be missing when I think we could just simplify the game. The best player on the best team who just won MVP, who just won Finals MVP, that's my best player in the league. And I don't know how much we can talk about it more. Like we can just kind of end it there, unless you want to end it with something else.
Oh no, I have my own thing to say.
Okay.
No, because you gave everything about Shai, and I want to give Shai his flowers. Shai is an incredible talent, and I think in a lot of other periods in basketball, he would be considered the best player in the league. A lot of the time, I think there are several different. I think if you go back to the '90s, he's one of the best players in the league for sure. I think you go to the 2000s. He's a timeless talent in a lot of ways because people go to his foul baiting and people go to that stuff. But what makes him great is the fact that defenders are so afraid of his mid range and so afraid of his jump shot and so afraid of his his quick twitch, his ability to get to the rim and his ability to finish. That's what makes defenders jump. Defenders don't jump at guys because the guys make them jump. Not at the NBA level. It's like Steph Curry too. Steph Curry has added a level to his offense that is entirely unique to the best players in NBA history, and that element is fear. Players are afraid of Steph Curry. Players are afraid of his three-point shot, and players are afraid of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's mid-range, which is why he can get them to overplay him so much, right? Because they're so desperate to try to stop him from getting to those middies. So Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is an incredible player, and I don't say anything I say to put Shai Gilgeous-Alexander down. Nikola Jokic is having the greatest start to a season we have seen in NBA history. I mean, when you talk about what he's doing right now, when you talk about the levels to this, it is undeniable that Nikola Jokic is the best player in the world. And you talk about eye test, right? Nikola Jokic is never going to be a guy that jumps out of the screen at you in terms of his physical abilities, But what I respect about Nikola Jokic is he does what a lot of superstars don't, and he always plays within himself. And let me tell you, there's a lot of potential just within Nikola Jokic's baseline game. But he doesn't force things. He doesn't try to do things. It's something him and Shai both do very well. But let me just throw this out here. Box plus minus is a stat that has been used a lot. It's basically an overall indicator of how great a season is based on, yes, statistical performance. Because at the end of the day, it's hard to get away from statistics. And I'm not going to deny that Jokic and his advantages a lot of the times do have to be represented statistically. But to the degree at which they're represented, I think is what makes them such a good argument. Because talk about the top 10 seasons of all time. Michael Jordan in 87-88 with a 12.96 box plus minus. LeBron James in 08-09 with a 13.24 box plus minus, right? Now, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander this year, higher than both those guys, 13.36, which is incredible. That'd be good for second all time, right? And Nikola Jokic was number one in 21-22, a season in which he was incredible, right? With 13.72. Now, if you scroll all the way down from Shai Gilgeous-Alexander at 13.36 to, let's say, Clyde Drexler in 1987-88, a great player, an all-star player with a box plus minus of 7, 201st, right? This is comparable to Bob Lanier in 73-74, Chris Paul in 17-18, Tracy McGrady in 2000-2001, Kevin Durant in 11-12. Really good players, but 200 spots separate these guys from Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. That is the difference between Nikola Jokic and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander this season. Nikola Jokic's box plus minus is 19.82, which is insane. His true shooting percentage is 74%. His 2-point percentage is 74%. His 3-point percentage is 40. He shoots a better percentage from 3, a better percentage from the field, a better percentage from 2. The only thing he doesn't shoot better are free throws. He has more assists, more rebounds, more steals. I mean, he is, and if these steals, people go, oh, he's not a good defender, but he's top 5 in the league in deflections a lot of years, right? Which is a stat that is really indicative of how good a guy is getting his hands in the passing lanes. But it's not even just that. It's that you cannot double him at all. Now, maybe you can't double Shai. This was an argument we had last year. Is it better to be a guy that you can't double because you can pass, or is it better to be a guy that you can't double because you can get through the double team, right? Nikola Jokic can do both. That is the element he has added to his game this season. You send a double, he might just spin out off the guy away from the double team and still get to the basket and score. I mean, he had the most efficient 50-point game in NBA history. He is simultaneously almost a better scorer and a way better distributor than Shai is. Now, defensively, they play two very different roles, and I will say pound for pound, Shai is the better defender, and I will give you that. And I will say that Shai within the Thunder system, like with the way the Thunder play, is an incredible player, and I think Shai would be good on any team. But I think you could put Nikola Jokic on the Washington Wizards, and they would be a playoff team. I think Nikola Jokic is the greatest floor raiser in NBA history, along with LeBron James. I do not, and that just speaks to his level of dominance, because it's truly just incredible what we're watching, and it's the eye test too. It is the fear. He has the fear factor. I mean, we talked about it. Ivica Zubac is a guy who has guarded Jokic very well in the past. He's physical, he's strong, he's big, he can body him up, he can do the things that you need to do to guard Jokic well. And we looked at that Clippers game, we were like, well, I mean, that's a great matchup for Jokic. Maybe this is going to slow him down. He had 55 points. He had the most efficient 50-point game in NBA history on a guy that a lot of people would say is a good matchup for him. Now, I understand that Shai maybe doesn't need to put up these numbers to win. And obviously rebounding and the value of that is subjective, because as a big man, you're just going to grab those rebounds, and as a guard, you're not. But I think people often disregard Jokic because he doesn't play the way you want a superstar to play. And Shai does more so. He does have that superstar quality to his game. And Nikola Jokic is just good. Great. The best in the NBA. And it is unapologetic. It's not flashy. The guy, I don't even know what he does to work on his game in the offseason. I got to be honest with you, because every time I see a picture of him in the offseason, he's hanging out with horses. So I don't know what the horses are telling him, but they're telling him something, because he's getting better every single year. And I mean, I feel like I'm going on a bit of a tangent right now. Like I really am just like going
Stay with us. Stay with us. That's what they're telling him. He's having to fight this moral dilemma of money and fame and horses. Like I know it's a very hard
I feel
dilemma.
like he's playing better basketball. It's like how a player, like after a breakup, or like heartbreak will just play incredible. That's how Nikola Jokic plays all year because he's away from his horses. So, yeah, this guy, I mean, and I can throw out all these advanced stats. At the end of the day, he's averaging 30, 11, and 14 or 13. He is, he's averaging or 29, 11, and 13, 2 steals. He is the most efficient scorer in the NBA, most efficient volume scorer in the NBA. He's borderline averaging 60, 40, 90 as a center. And he's also doing this with a worse supporting cast than Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And I do truly think that because this season has really changed my opinion on roster construction. I do not think that talent equals success as much as we would like to think it is. Because you look at the Nuggets have a overall more talented starting lineup, but the Thunder have a better roster. They have
it's so crazy
Thunder
how that works with basketball.
They have a perfect roster. The Thunder do. There are no holes. That it's like I said, Miami Heat, but let's just throw in an MVP. Why not?
Because it's not like a 17 or 18 Warriors. It's not like these, like, obviously Chet is great, J-Dub is great, but they're not superstars.
No, it's not like, the 17-18 Warriors team just had 2 of the best players on the planet that fit perfectly next to each other, right? It's much more comparable to like a Spurs team, like it is. You want to talk about a team that just meshed incredibly together. Go back to 2016. The team that finished behind the Warriors in record but had a higher net rating than they did, the San Antonio Spurs with Kawhi Leonard and Tim Duncan and LaMarcus Aldridge and all of them. And I mean, just it really does remind me of like a Spurs team. But you know what it reminds me of more, to go to a different sport? It reminds me of the Patriots. That's what this Thunder team reminds me of. It is boring almost because they do the exact. It's not boring basketball, but it's boring because they do the exact same thing every game and they win every game. And they're only going to get better because these guys are only going to mature more. Shai's only going to get better. Chet's only going to get better. J-Dub's only going to get better. The only thing that's going to stop them is potential salary cap restrictions in the future.
Which, by the way, most of these players already have their contract extensions. Mm-hmm. I can't even think of it because Hartenstein just got paid. J-Dub got paid. Chet got paid. Shai got paid. Yeah, Shai got paid. Who else? Even I think Dort got paid too. I think maybe it's like Kaysen. Kaysen might be someone who's looking to get paid. But besides him, Kaysen's great. He's not a make or break for this OKC team. They probably have a guy like AJ Mitchell who's just going to step in. AJ Mitchell probably has another, 2 years?
Yeah, looking at the guys they have under contract until, through next season, not even they would have to re-sign them in 2027 in that offseason. It's everyone, everyone either has a team option or is under contract except Ousmane Dieng, Brooks Barnhizer, Chris Youngblood, and Brandon Carlson. Everyone else is under contract until then.
Speaking of Brandon Carlson, by the way, I think this is the player who said it. I think it always just starts with a good coach because he was being interviewed and he talked about the Thunder and he said that I know, because this was after he had a great game the other night. He said, I know I'm never going to be a star in the NBA. I'm just not. Most of these guys on this roster never are. Mm-hmm. But if we just buy into our roles and we just do what we have to do, we will just keep on winning championships and we'll stay on the team and we'll do all this. And just to have that kind of maturity, it's definitely taught by a coach. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I feel like these dynasties do start with a coach.
It's taught by a coach, but it's also found by a GM when you draft these guys and you're not looking at talent purely. You're looking at fit and how these guys are going to fit next to your team. Because if you already have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, you don't need another great scoring player. You need a guy who's going to buy into the system. Can you even think of how many times there's been a guy that came into the league that was super talented and just couldn't buy into a system and couldn't find a spot in the league just because he couldn't buy in?
You always think of Cam Reddish. Cam Reddish.
Yeah, Cam Reddish. Cam Reddish had all the talent in the world. Also, looking at the Thunder, Isaiah Hartenstein, Lou Dort, Kaysen Wallace. Those are their key players that they don't have under contract in 27-28. They still have AJ Mitchell, Jalen Williams, or both Jalen Williams, Aaron Wiggins, Isaiah Joe, Nikola Jokic, Caruso, Chet, and Shai all under contract for that whole. This team's going to be good for a long time.
By the way, they have the Clippers pick.
Yeah.
The Clippers are a bottom 7 team in the league. So they could easily, even if they don't, they could just not even win the lottery. But they'd get the 8th or 9th pick.
And then honestly, you know what the Thunder will probably do? They'll probably trade it for 2 lower first round picks so that they can draft guys that fit better into their system and have 2 more talented guys that'll just end up replacing like Lou Dort and Cason Wallace down the line.
That's where they found AJ Mitchell was barely into the second round. He was in the second
They
round.
don't need a lottery pick.
No, they don't. But they can also do the opposite. They can trade up. They have the assets to trade up. Now,
Corey, if the Thunder, can you imagine if the Thunder win the lottery? It's a real possibility.
it's a real possibility. I will say, okay, if they don't win the lottery and they trade up somehow to a top 4 pick, whichever franchise traded with them is going to get hated for a long time.
That franchise should be dissolved.
Yeah, you don't let, even if they give you an amazing package, you don't let the Thunder become that super team where they get Boozer, or
Peterson,
Peterson.
Donsta, like any of them.
My team could also get one of those 3. I'm so happy.
Yeah.
But yeah,
place to be.
they've been amazing. It sounds like so long ago you were advocating for Jokic because we've been talking about Shai for so long. But I definitely see the point. All of my points combined with also, by the way, the Thunder beating the Nuggets head to head last year. I did forget to mention that. I'm always going to be Team Shai. You're going to be Team Jokic. We're never going to agree, but maybe the comments will either agree or disagree with one of us. But it's really stubborn. Because I do think both of these guys will probably end up now, like maybe like total stats wise and all that kind of stuff. Shai won't be, like statistically, he won't be like a John Stockton or anything. But we will look back, and these will probably be 2 of the top 15 greatest players in history.
And throw Giannis into that.
And then you throw Giannis. Like, potentially, maybe Luka can get into that conversation.
Luka has to win.
He has to win,
the thing.
though.
How is Luka going to win an MVP?
When LeBron retires?
Yeah, because the thing is, if Jokic isn't winning MVP over Shai, Luka sure isn't.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's true.
So Luka would have to be the first seed, and who is going to be the first seed? Like when is Luka going to be the first seed over the Thunder? So it'll be interesting.
Then again, Jokic is older than Luka. I
Yeah.
can see Luka getting MVP into his 30s.
Yeah, but then he's got 1, maybe 2. Is just Shai going to win another one this year if the Thunder finish as good as if the Thunder finish with 70 plus wins, you kind of have to give Shai another MVP. You know? So it's kind of like
You do. Because definitely, yeah, Michael Jordan won MVP when they in '96, right?
yeah, there's no way he didn't.
Yeah, I'm
There's no.
So,
I'm
like,
not even gonna look.
I actually don't think.
I'm not even gonna look it up. There's no way.
Is it possible for a team to win 70 games and for a player not to win MVP?
Let's check. So
It's only happened twice, hasn't it?
I know, but like just the NBA teams with the best. I'm curious with the team with the best record. It might be the 2016 Spurs. Genuinely,
Either the Spurs or dude, last year's Cavs. How many? Oh, actually, they only won 65. Never mind, they slowed down. But
yeah. So the teams with the best record in a single season. Thunder this year have the highest winning percentage ever to this point in the season, so they're on pace to beat that. But we're 15 games into the season. Warriors, Steph won it. Bulls, Jordan won it. I didn't realize the Pistons' winning percentage was that high. They have the 4th highest winning percentage of all time right now.
yeah, so that's not gonna.
Detroit, you're up. It was the Bulls in 96-97. I'm pretty sure.
Was that Barkley? Or was that Malone?
No, I'm pretty sure that was one of. I think Malone won 2 MVPs.
How many wins was that? 68?
Yep, Carl 69 wins.
69 wins.
That's crazy, dude.
But also people talk about that MVP and Michael Jordan should have won it. So
That's crazy, dude. Like looking at the voting, how did Michael Jordan not win MVP? More points per game, same assists per game, more steals per game, same blocks per game. Karl Malone had 4 more rebounds per game. Michael Jordan shot 49, 37, 83, and Karl Malone shot 55, 0, 75. And yeah, how did Michael Jordan not win MVP?
How many games did the Jazz win? Are they on that list?
Jazz, 1996. I didn't see them on the top portion of that list. I've scrolled down to 25 and they're not there. There's no way he should have won MVP.
It was probably like 60 wins, and they just gave it to him because they got bored. Yeah, unless like the games played were.
Yeah, they won 64 games. They won a lot of games, but the Bulls won 5 more games and Michael Jordan played better. But yeah, you're right. That MVP is talked about in the sense of like Michael Jordan definitely should have won this MVP. 71-72, Lakers won 69 games. I'm pretty sure Kareem was on. No, he wasn't. Was he?
No.
No.
Let's call it right now. Oh my gosh. Does the OKC Thunder win 70 games this season?
Just hit the mic. So they would have to go for the rest of the year to win. They would have to go
55 and 11. Wait, right?
56. 50, so if they go 56 and 11 the rest of the year.
Wait, no, it wouldn't be 56 and 11, would it? Mm-hmm. Because how many? They're at what? 14 wins right now.
14 wins, 1 loss. So to get to 70, it would have to be 56 and 11.
What at 70? What's 70? Oh, 70 wins. Oh, yeah.
That is 70.
Yeah. Okay. 56 and 11. I mean, at this point, they're on pace to do it. Like that's
56 and 11 isn't crazy.
J-Dub is coming back.
Yeah, they're getting. I'm saying it right now. They're getting 70 this year.
I think they'll probably get 70. Because what they got? What? Yeah, 68 last year. You said.
Mm-hmm.
That they'll get 70. J-Dub hasn't come back. Kayson's missed some games. Dort's missed some games. Maybe Dort missing games is for the better. I personally do think, even though Dort's really important to that team, they could be better without him.
It's kind of like, what are even us, like, what is our perception of 70 wins going to look like? Because can you imagine, like, being a fan of the NBA in, like, the 70s, 80s, and then you see the 95, 96 Bulls, and you're like, this is the greatest team I've ever seen with my eyes, right? This team, 70 wins? Are you kidding me? And then, they win 69 the year after, right? And then the Warriors come around and you're like, this might be like the best or second best team I've ever seen. 73 wins. Then they followed with 67 with Kevin Durant. Then, 67 even the year before that. They went 67, 73, 67. I mean, that's a crazy stretch. And now the Thunder, like what are people's perceptions going to look like?
People's perception is bad for the Thunder. People don't respect the Thunder yet. I'm not talking about like other opposing players.
Which
I'm talking about fans.
It is kind of crazy. I get why people loved the Warriors because Steph Curry was incredible to watch and Shai doesn't have that sort of showmanship value. But how can you not I'm not a Thunder fan, but how can you not at least respect what they're doing? I mean, this is going to go down as one of the greatest teams of all time.
I mean, you want to say, even if you want to match up the 17 or 18 Warriors with the 25 Thunder, you want to say the Warriors win in a series, maybe go ahead.
I think the Warriors have
to
call me crazy, I think they have the 2 best players in the series.
You could argue it. I'm not, I don't know. But honestly, that'd be a cool topic for a different day.
Oh, yeah.
But you talk about just as a whole team, you talk about the 2 whole teams, and the fact that you have to go through the regular season and all that. The Thunder are the better team. Maybe not head to head. Maybe if you shorten the rotations, it's a 7-game series. Say the Warriors are better.
Yeah.
But
throughout any 2-game regular season, I think the Thunder are almost more built for it than that 16-17 Warriors team. Yeah. Now, 15-16 Warriors is an interesting conversation because that team was deeper and that team was more built for the regular season.
And that's an argument of possibly last year's Thunder isn't as good as that team, but maybe this year's Thunder is because Shai has gotten better. Chet is playing better. Hartenstein is playing better. You look at these guys. AJ Mitchell is a legit piece now. Before he was like an inconsistent. Maybe he plays, maybe he doesn't.
Yeah.
It could be, but obviously we have to see a whole 82 games. So far, I would say this Thunder team is better.
Yeah.
Than that 16 Warriors.
Yeah.
But yeah. Okay. We spent a lot of time on that.
We got to move on. We spent a long time on that.
Clipping that's going to be a while.
This might have to be a 2-parter. All right. I think we can briefly go over this next topic, unless you have a lot to say about it.
Yeah.
So this rookie class has been an enigma, I think, in a lot of ways, because we started out, VJ Edgecombe looked like the next, coming, right? He looked incredible, and he's evened out. He still looks good, but he definitely has come back down to earth a little bit.
Last 8 games. So I looked through half for each rookie. I kind of skimmed through the second half of their season so far and how they've been playing. Edgecombe has been 35% from the field in the last second half of so he's definitely, because he was so good in that first 7 that he's still looking good.
He's playing like a rookie.
But he is playing like a rookie.
And Cedric Howard, being an older rookie, even still has looked really good for the Grizzlies, and he's only going to get more of an opportunity with Ja Morant out. Con Knuppel has looked really good for the Hornets, actually. I think he had back-to-back. No, he had a 29-point game and then a 33-point game, and they were both efficient.
In that last 8 games, he's averaging 22 points per game.
Yeah.
22.
He looks good. He looked good for sure. But Cooper Flagg, the headliner of the draft, a guy that a lot of people were super high on and then super disappointed in to start the year, has also evened out. And I think it's not getting a ton of attention because all the conversation around the Mavs has been about Anthony Davis and Nico Harrison and the owners. But Cooper Flagg is quietly finding his rhythm, and he's 18 years old. He hasn't even turned 19 yet.
Youngest player in the league.
Even his season averages has evened out. God, I swear to goodness, I get so excited talking about basketball that I just can't speak.
Don't swear to goodness, okay?
Swear to me. 15.5 points per game, 45 from the field, 6.5 rebounds, 3 assists, a steal and a half, and a little under a block. He's finding his rhythm for sure, and he's only played better over the last few games. I mean, looking at these shooting splits, he's definitely shooting above 50% from the field over his last 5, and probably more than that. His scoring's gone up, and it really does correlate, I think, with Brandon Williams getting more run in the lineup. Because Brandon Williams is kind of more of a actual creator and point guard than
Probably
D'Lo
the
is.
most actual point guard on the roster besides Ryan Nembhard, who might not be an actual NBA player, but he is a good playmaker.
Yeah. So Cooper Flagg, such an interesting case of so much going on. And I think that's what I want to give him most credit for. At 18 years old, as the de facto number 1 pick, a guy who everyone knew was going to be the number 1 pick from the time he committed to Duke, pretty much. And he never proved them wrong. He has come into a situation where the organization is in disarray. He has his fans chanting fire Nico Harrison, his GM chants, while his teammates at the free throw line in a close game. They just traded away their beloved star player, so there's not as much of a warm welcome for him as there would be for a typical number 1 overall pick that was as highly considered as he was. And he has handled it all remarkably well. I mean, I don't know if it's just his demeanor or if he's been really well media trained, but he has just handled he's taken it all in stride. He has handled it like a true professional, and there's so many other guys that are super talented that would not have handled this well at all. I mean, you want to talk about how Anthony Edwards would have handled this situation, or, a guy like Zion, or all these other number 1 picks. Like,
They would have let the distractions get to him.
For
and
sure.
They would have just, not only would their play would have been worse, but they would have been talking to the media and all this kind of stuff. And I think I did see something about Cooper Flagg's parents talking a little bit.
Yeah,
about
his parents
the
reposted
situation.
some stuff about Nico Harrison, but it's like it's the same. It deals with Halliburton's dad and stuff like that. That's how responsible are you for your parents, really, at the end of the day?
Yeah, you're not at all. One thing I will say is the Mavericks have already played 10 home games this season, which is the most in the NBA.
Yeah.
That should be a good thing, but honestly, with the whole Nico Harrison chance, that's probably messed up his season. The second that he enters the arena, it's probably negative vibes. One, with the Luka trade. Then there's the AD injury. And then there's the Nico Harrison in general. Then the team's already losing because even though he's the number 1 pick and he's one of the best prospects, when I say one of the best prospects all time, I'm going to say top 15, not top 5 prospect ever. But
to come out as the unanimous number 1 pick at 18 years old.
Yeah, you're the youngest player, not by far, because I think Jeremiah Fears is right under him, but those two are the youngest by far in the league.
Yeah.
The fact that he has, just taken it like a champ. Has he been playing up to expectation? Not really.
Mm-hmm.
I expected a couple more points per game, more whatever. I expect him to do a little bit more, even playmaking wise. But he still had a good start. He is still, in my opinion, I don't know what the Vegas odds are, but I would still predict he's going to win Rookie of the Year because I believe in his talent overall. And he hasn't been playing with a point guard. Brandon Williams is the best fit, and he was injured and going through some sort of news story at the start of the year, and then now he's finally playing. And I just think the fact that the Dallas Mavericks tried to start him at point guard, I'm looking. So I used I used hashtag basketball.com for my rookie rankings and all the rookie stats. They have him at point guard in the position. Point guard, shooting guard, small forward. Because for some reason, the Mavericks decided to try and run him at point guard to start the year.
Because it just reeks of a desperation to be like, no, we traded Luka, but we have new Luka. Guys, look, it's new, improved Luka.
When he plays nothing like Luka.
No.
It's just the fact that they're white.
And you know what? In his last, this is what I'll give him credit for too. His numbers overall this year have not been incredible by any means. And just in the month of November, right? So this is just cutting out the first 5 games, right? In the month of November, he's averaging 17 points per game, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, steal and a half, a block on 47% shooting, 30% from 3, 70% from the line. in about 34, 35 minutes a game. Those are really good numbers for a rookie, especially one with as much defensive attention as he's getting. So, I mean, you look at his last like 5 games, which I know for a fact have been better. Find it real quick. He's played some double overtime games. I will say that. So he's definitely like.
But what's crazy, even with these double overtime games, his minutes per game isn't the highest. Dude, yeah. VJ Edgecombe averages 37 minutes a game. That is insane.
That is crazy.
And I'm not even going to say like, oh, wow, like, and he's only put up these stats. Like, no, to even play that much an NBA game in your rookie season, like, I'm giving him credit for that.
And the thing is, you can say, oh, he's playing more minutes, but in more minutes, he's shooting even less, and he's scoring. Like, he's averaging over his last 5 games, 19 points per game, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, steal and a half, a block, 2 turnovers, 55% from the field, 33 from the line.
33 from the line?
Or sorry, 33 from 3, but also 55 from the line.
Oh, okay. So. But that's even 33 from the line is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cooper Flagg has been amazing. Would you right now? I don't know odds or whatever, but
he
odds.
He is the betting odd, or
he is the betting favorite.
The betting favorite. He's
good.
The betting favorite right now.
Favorite. Yeah, I would definitely pick Cooper Flagg, even though Concadopoulos has technically been on a higher trajectory and is in total for the season averaging a whole 2 more points per game.
Yeah, Concadopoulos just doesn't do as much as Cooper Flagg does.
Yeah,
and that's his archetype as a player. He's not supposed to be able to do it all. Cooper Flagg is.
Because Cooper Flagg, by the way, is second in points per game for rookies. He is second in rebounds per game for rookies. He is 5th for assists, 2nd for steals, and then 3rd for blocks.
And he had a bad start to the season.
And he had a bad start he wasn't scoring very well.
And we're only 50 point.
I still think he's going to be a legit all-star, all-NBA kind of player. And I think it's crazy how people overreacted. Yeah, that's honestly the big thing I want to talk about today was the overreaction people had. Have you seen what people have been saying about, and this isn't just like people on social media, I think it's been actual analysts and scout experts. Yeah. They're saying Cooper Flagg would have gone like 6th.
Yeah, there were some GMs.
In this year's draft.
I think some GMs might have said that or something.
Yeah, some anonymous GMs. That is insane. Cooper Flagg as a prospect had nearly no flaws. He might have had like a couple like things that he could have improved on, but he had so many strengths. We talk about, I mean, he was supposed to be a better defensive prospect than offensive prospect. And offensively, he has been great. Yeah. 16, 6, and 3. Well, I guess 16 and 3 because rebounds is kind of like a defensive stat. Yeah. But yeah, like 16 and 3 in the most chaotic environment you could ever imagine. Even like the Wizards isn't that bad because you know they're going to be bad. You know they're going to lose, but...
And it's not even like he gets the benefit of having a player next to him who is going to take some attention away from him.
Who is helping Cooper Flagg?
Anthony Davis got hurt, which, big surprise there. But Anthony Davis got hurt again, and now Cooper Flagg doesn't have any help. He doesn't have anyone next to except Brandon Williams, PJ Washington, these guys that are good, but they're not going to take defensive attention away from Cooper Flagg.
Can I say this? Because I believe the Mavericks have their own pick. I could be wrong.
I sure hope they do. For their own sake.
I understand everyone hating that the Dallas Mavericks got Cooper Flagg after trading Luka Doncic. But now that Nico is gone, can we root for them to win the lottery? Can we do that?
Mavericks fans deserve it.
Yeah, I think they deserve it. Because now it's not Nico Harrison winning. I guess technically you could say the evil owners or the evil owners are kind of winning. But besides that, like, I want Cooper Flagg to have some teammates. I want a team to have some hope in the end. And so, like, I guess there is other teams like the Wizards that you kind of want to win.
I don't even care if they win the lottery. Just let them get a top 4 pick. Let them get one of those 4 guys, you know?
Yeah, after the Hawks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm not actually, like, I know you should always draft for best player available instead of like fit or whatever. But even fit wise, I think Darren Peterson goes on a lot of these teams. Teams are kind of missing.
Darren Peterson would be excellent for the Dallas Mavericks.
He would,
because he's a point guard, and they need a point guard.
They do.
Yeah.
Some reason they'd pick like Cameron Boozer. It's like, what are you doing?
You just see like Nico standing in the shadows, like someone swapped out the envelope.
Do you want Cooper Flagg at point guard, AD at like the 3, Boozer at the 4, Gafford at the 5?
Buddy, AD will not be in Dallas next year. I can guarantee you that.
That is true. Hopefully it's for the better. Hopefully they actually find some people who will fit next to Cooper Flagg. I just don't know what kind of package you even get for Anthony Davis at this point. I saw I'm not gonna like agree or disagree, whatever. I saw some Hawks fans getting mad at an AD package and the trade.
I was gonna say, so why the Hawks could trade this Pelicans pick and Trae Young with some other combination of something for AD. And then you got AD and Porzingis, which is like, you know, toss up on whether both of them are going to be injured. One of them is going to be injured.
That's the thing. This pick is so valuable that I don't think AD is even that enticing. I really don't think AD's trade value is there.
Not at this stage, and not with where the Hawks are at, because I don't know that getting AD.
I'm talking about for any team. Dude, he's not Embiid level. Don't get me wrong, but he's kind of getting there. The fact that he doesn't play.
They trade AD back to the Lakers.
Dude, Luka and Cooper Flagg would be a duo. Oh my gosh!
Please give him back.
But
no, who could use? I mean, who could use AD? Like, that's a kind of a ridiculous question to ask.
Every team technically could use AD.
But who could really afford to give up something for AD right now for what they'd get back in return? I saw some people say Chicago. He's from Chicago too, so it would be a place where he'd want to go play, and he'd be incentivized to go play.
If they wanted to truly buy in, because I could see Chicago, him going to the Blazers for like a Klingon. Oh, then again, I don't think the Mavericks would want like a Klingon. That's the thing.
The Mavericks would want like a Scoot.
Scoot. I'm
And
just trying to think.
Scoot, what is Scoot's value now? Because he's been in the league for 3 years. He has yet to show the potential that we thought he had coming into the draft, where some people, which was ridiculous at the time, were like, he should be drafted number 1 over Victor Wembanyama, which no, he shouldn't have been. But
No.
He definitely had all this like physical talent and ability, and he just hasn't shown it yet.
I think at one point I was a Scoot over Wemby guy, but then Wemby played a couple more games and I was like, never mind.
Looking at teams that could afford, it really is like the Bulls.
Give AD to like the Pacers if the Pacers win the lottery.
Yeah.
If Halliburton's coming back. You replace Miles Turner now. It's the same team.
By the way, just briefly want to mention Halliburton's like a system player. How's the system doing? How's it going?
No, Halliburton's talented, and we will give credit, especially after the finals run, and then after this season, we'll give Halliburton the credit he deserves.
Give Halliburton his flowers, man.
Them getting AD though would be insane. I mean, then again, yeah, like would you want Boozer over Anthony Davis if you have Halliburton on your team and you're the Pacers? I don't think so. I honestly think you just take AD.
No, you're right. There's just not a ton of teams in the NBA right now.
With the Hawks, like the pick's so valuable that Darren Peterson would be such a good fit.
Yeah, it's like, what are the Warriors going to give up for AD? Could the Warriors use AD? Hell yeah, they could. What are they going to give up for him? Could the Timberwolves use an AD? Sure. What are they going to give up for him? Could the Suns use an AD? Yeah. A Gobert for AD trade. Could the Suns use AD? Yeah, absolutely. What are they going to give up for him? And then the top teams, like, I don't think the Rockets care enough to get AD. I don't think they already have a D, a KD. The Nuggets wouldn't care to get KD. I'm mixing myself. No, I shouldn't have said that. Because now I've got myself all like my wires crossed. I'm like KD, AD. The Thunder don't care to get AD. The Nuggets don't care to get AD.
If you wanted to make the greatest defense of all time, somehow get AD on the Magic. Just the offense would be so bad.
Just
that would
gross.
be a nasty offense.
It makes me sick thinking about it.
But yeah, and then I don't even know who would get AD.
I guess
maybe that is for another week. We come up with Anthony Davis trade off packages. Because I can't think. It might just be Chicago. Yeah, Chicago might be the only one.
I mean, we're going to come up with some other trade packages that are New Orleans adjacent here in a second, I believe. So
get AD back to New Orleans.
God,
yo, a Zion for AD swap.
Gonna have to drag him there, kicking and screaming.
But yeah, in this upcoming draft, if Cooper Flagg was in it, which by the way he was supposed to, it's just that Cooper Flagg did reclassify. That's why he's so young in the NBA. Mm-hmm. He would be the number 2 pick. Like the fact that people are saying wouldn't be top 5 is so ridiculous. At the very least, he is 4th
in this upcoming draft. I think he could go 1 again.
He could, and yeah, he could easily go 1 again. I mean, a lot of people are really, really high on Darren Peterson right now, which is fair. By the way, he has been hurt. Darren Peterson, he hasn't played in like a week.
Drafting a point guard first overall,
but he's
such
6'6".
a gamble. He is 6'6".
How often are 6'6" point guards drafted number 1 versus like
probably way more often? Yeah, especially if he fits the mold. Like he is exactly what you'd want out of a point guard in the modern NBA.
He's a combo guard that he can play make well. Like I don't think he's not gonna be Halliburton or anything, but he's gonna.
No, but it's like, do you look at him as like a Shai or something like that?
Yeah.
Probably draft that guy.
Working.
That's probably draft that guy first overall.
Would you draft Shai first overall?
But yeah, Cooper Flagg, just give him a little bit more time. He'll be fine.
For sure. All right.
Now going to our last topic, we'll hit this pretty quick because we've really talked a lot today. My mouth is dry. The New Orleans Pelicans are a team that we both had finishing as a play-in or playoff team this year.
Yeah.
Safe to say they are not close to that right now. Now, Zion's going to come back, and DeJounte's going to come back, and Poole's going to come back, and maybe they can hold out long enough to try to, do something this year, which they really have to because they don't have their pick. But I think it's over for New Orleans, honestly. That's kind of where I'm at. I mean,
Willie Green was fired a week ago.
Willie Green was fired.
Also, just for reference, there wasn't a single player who was bought into Willie Green's ideology. Maybe the only one might have been I actually don't know. They haven't been super specific with the sources.
Maybe it helps to switch it up because looking at these bottom feeder teams, they are the most talented roster-wise of the bottom feeders. You have Herb Jones, you have Trey Murphy, you have Jordan Poole, you have DeJounte Murray, who hasn't played yet this year, granted, but you have DeJounte Murray, you have Zion Williamson, you have Jeremiah Fears, you have Derek Queen, you have Yves Missi, you have all of these guys who have so much potential and so much ability, and they haven't been utilized well at all. They had some close games at the beginning of the season, but they just don't look like a good team at all. And maybe getting a new coach in there who knows how to use those guys will help. I think Zion should be playing even more of a point forward position than he was under Willie Green's offense. I think that is his best position. But if he can't stay healthy, it really doesn't matter. I mean, the fact that he caught both of these injuries in not even playing in the games, off the court, practicing and stuff like that, that's concerning for sure.
Yeah, it's concerning. All of the 1 through 4 of the team, point guard through power forward, were supposed to be carrying this team because the center rotation is that bad right now. Mm-hmm. Clearly, there is no faith in Yves Missi as he was the starter last year, and he has barely played any minutes. I think he's been injured a little bit.
Which is crazy to me because he was one of the better players out of last year's draft.
And he's a dude who was that good already as a rookie, and he'd only been playing basketball for 3 or 4 or 5 years, so somewhere around there.
And now you got Derek Queen, obviously, but Derek Queen could be a power forward more than anything.
He's more of a power forward. Yeah. And I mean, he's a rookie center. Rookie centers are supposed to be losing centers. And Yves Missi was on the side of he was a losing center, but you saw the potential of him being better. You would think that they would just believe in him, but now right now they have this 3 center unit of them two and Kevon Looney, but then Looney plays 4 minutes a night. Have you seen that? His game log, he just plays the first 4 minutes of the game and then just doesn't play the rest.
Because Looney is at his best and at his most effective. And I'm not even going to say at his best. I love Kevon Looney. Kevon Looney only works in an offense that is good because you need guys who can actually shoot the ball and create and be those primary guys. And then if you put Kevon Looney in that offense, he will get you rebounds, he'll play defense, he will do all the other things. He'll do all the little things. But you cannot ask him to do any of the big things. That is not his game, right?
Yeah.
And the Pelicans are ass. So they ask him to do these big things, right? And it's just, yeah.
The one biggest area of concern besides health for me for the Pelicans was the center position. So now with Willie Green being fired and Borrego stepping, that is his name, right?
Yeah.
James Borrego. Yeah, James Borrego. James Borrego stepping forward as the interim head coach.
And who did he coach before?
Hornets.
That's right.
So that's a great head coach to have.
Not a great track record.
But now Derek Queen is starting at center, and they've still been losing. Nothing has changed. Now, maybe they've looked a little better. They were kind of competitive with the Warriors, but you did not make the big change isn't to be kind of competitive with the Warriors. And yes, Poole is out and Zion is out.
No, the Thunder you lose to, that's granted, but you want to be good against a team like the Warriors if you're the Pelicans and you have any sort of hope for this season, because the Warriors are a step below the Thunder, at least as of right now, right?
Yeah. So at least last game, okay, I didn't see this last game because I saw the Warriors one. Yves Missi and Derek Queen did start together. Obviously with Zion, that won't be a thing, but I actually do like that rotation. They only lost to the Thunder by 15, which actually isn't above that because the net rating of the Thunder is 15. So
I mean, yeah, and they did outscore them by 8 in the fourth quarter, so there might have been some garbage time minutes in there. They were down. Probably. I mean, they were down 23 going into they lost by 17. They were down 25 going into the fourth quarter, so I'd assume that the Thunder pulled their starters pretty early. But yeah, you lose by only 8 to the Trailblazers. That's a solid loss without your best player. I mean, without your best 2 players. I mean, without your best 3 players. I mean, this Pelicans team is very incomplete, and they're still playing at least competitive basketball. Jeremiah Fears has looked good, but Derek Queen looked really good in that Blazers game.
And I'm fine with competitive basketball without your best players, but you have to get some wins.
You do.
You have to luck into some wins.
So yeah, they play there's just no easy nights when you play in the West. They play the Nuggets tomorrow, then the Mavericks, who obviously they have to beat the Mavericks.
That's the team you have to beat.
Then they play the Hawks, then the Bulls, then you have to beat the Grizzlies, but then they play the Warriors, Lakers, Timberwolves. And then they play the Nets, and you're like, oh, maybe Spurs, Rockets, which I guess the Spurs may not have Wemby, but
yeah, so that might be an easier game. Overall, I'm not mad at the biggest problem isn't the fact, because I like Derek Queen, I like Jeremiah Fears, I like the young guys they have. If they just had their own pick, we wouldn't be as mad. We wouldn't be talking about this. We'd be like, oh, okay, you know what? I guess they can tank again. But at this point, when you don't have your own pick, and Zion is showing that, and it could be a freak injury, whatever, but he's showing that he's missing another 2 weeks. Maybe trading Zion for worse players that will more consistently play.
It's showing he's missing another 2 weeks now, or he just missed.
No, he just missed another 2 weeks
because he's supposed to be questionable for next game. Or I mean, God, I don't even want to say supposed to be back when it comes to Zion. He's questionable for the next game though.
Yeah, because you never know.
A chance to play.
There were times where people were saying, "Oh, he'll be back in a couple weeks," and then he missed the rest of the season.
Yeah, Corby, there's times he was questionable for like 3 months, literally. I don't even understand how that happens. Which, let's get into it a little bit. Why is the Pelicans training staff, health staff, whatever you want to call them, why are they so bad? Why are they so awful? Is it just New Orleans?
Well, it is New Orleans because the owners of the Saints are the same owners as the one of the Pelicans. So I was going to make a whole video on this, but I kind of scrapped it because I don't know. Sometimes I just get bored and scrap things. It's a bad habit, but pretty much, there was a medical doctor that worked for the New Orleans Saints that missed an entire injury on an X-ray. Just missed it. Just like the X-ray showed it and the person just didn't see it. So there was a player who was held out like three additional weeks for something that he didn't even know about. Like they just kept saying, you can't play, but he didn't know the injury. So that player sued the team and the team doctor. The doctor got fired from the Saints and then was hired by the Pelicans and has been working for them since. That's not a joke.
But the Pelicans have the same owner.
Yeah.
So the owners fired somebody
and then hired them
and then rehired that person.
Yes. After a big mess up that you can't do with professional sports. You can't miss an entire injury. They were literally going to trade this player. I might just read off the script that I already had. But they were going to trade this player because they were thinking he's not even actually hurt and he can't play. So this dude is just like mentally weak. He's not good. We're just going to trade him. And they had to apologize to him after missing that injury. And he ended up not getting traded. I don't know how many more years he played, but he was a pretty good corner for the Saints. I don't know his name, but he was a pretty good corner. You can look up the story.
Was it Lattimore?
No, it wasn't Lattimore. I could actually just, if you want to talk real quick, I can pull it up.
Well, yeah, I mean, with the Pelicans, when it comes right down to it, this is a team that has been perpetually rebuilding really for a long time. They were good for a couple years with Anthony Davis. They've scratched the play-in a couple times with Zion. But the biggest problem they've always had is just roster construction. And I don't know if it's been the same owners. I doubt it's been the same GM. But for whatever reason, their roster construction is always full of very talented guys. But it's talent that is always utilized better in other places. They had Drew Holiday. Drew Holiday goes somewhere else, wins 2 championships. They had Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis goes somewhere else, wins a championship, right? I would not be shocked if the same thing happens with some of these other guys that they trade away. Because, I know you're not a big DeJounte Murray fan, but DeJounte Murray can work in a system where he's like the third option, right? Zion Williamson, if he can stay healthy, could be a great player. And who knows what level of his health is actually being impacted by playing in New Orleans. Because this is not a guy that was injury prone up until that shoe thing in college, right? It's just, when I look at the Pelicans, I look at a team and a fan base that frankly scares me because of I don't mean to go on a tangent, but I could see the Raiders becoming that soon, like very soon.
What?
A fan base that doesn't care about the team, a team that's perpetually rebuilding and doesn't utilize its talent well.
A team that doesn't care about the fan base.
A team that doesn't care about the fan base and just tries to care about filling the stadium any way they can. And just a team. What is the Pelicans' identity? What do they do well? At least the Nets have the identity of ball in hand, ball gets shot. And yeah, it's not much of an identity, but you know what you're going to get when you watch the Nets. When you watch the Wizards, it's like, you know, you're going to get these young players, and that is their identity. Again, not much of an identity, but you're like, okay, the Wizards are youth. The Wizards have so many young guys that when I turn on a Wizards game, I am going to get to watch these young guys play and see how they develop. The Pelicans don't play their young guys consistently. They don't have an identity. They don't have players that play consistently. They don't have a good head coach. They still don't have a good head coach. I mean, unless James Borrego has, rediscovered his ability to coach, because I'm sure he's a good head coach. He just wasn't able to do it in Charlotte. What are the Pelicans? What even are they? They're just a nothing team, and they don't even have their pick this year. This is, I mean, a disaster of catastrophic proportions for the Pelicans to be the worst team in the Western Conference, one of the worst teams in the NBA record-wise, and not even have your own pick this year.
The Pelicans are a filler NBA team. They are. Like, you don't care about them. You're not supposed to.
They're the team they're like the enemy that you play in a video game when you're just starting to learn how to play. Like the one that you just come across, and then it gives you it literally doesn't let you lose. The game will not let you lose the encounter. So it basically will tell you oh, push this button to do this, push this button to do that. That's what the Pelicans are. They're just a warm-up game almost. I mean,
they suck. I'm going to read off a couple things
go
because
ahead.
when it comes to the fan base and ownership and all that, they're absolutely terrible. This tweet came out about a week and a half ago from Retro Pels. Has Pelicans ownership quietly quit on fans? Number 1, there was no promotional calendar for the season, which a lot of people actually look forward to. Number 2, they stopped having open Pelicans NBA draft watch parties and quietly started hosting closed-door local food influencer ones that are 40 people. I'm not really too familiar with that, but I guess there was no watch party for the draft, which teams have. Yeah. They don't have a slogan. So I think it's on Instagram.
Oh yeah, they don't
too.
have a slogan this year.
No. So on Twitter and Instagram, and it's for the hashtags, it'll say thunder up, and then it'll show the thunder emoji to the right of it. Mm-hmm. The Pelicans, it just is hashtag Pelicans. That's it. Mm-hmm. Suns up, MFFL. Light the Beam, Grind City, Dub Nation, Clipper Nation, Mile High Basketball, Lake Show, All Fire. Do you know who that is?
All Fire?
Who would you guess?
All Fire?
Give you one guess.
That's one of their players?
No, that's the slogan.
Oh, that's All Fire? Is that the Suns?
It's the Rockets, which kind of makes sense, but it's kind of weird.
I don't like that.
Por Vida. You know who that is?
Por Vida?
Yeah.
Portland?
It's the Spurs. I don't know what that
Por
means.
Vida. It's got to be Spanish or something.
Probably. Take note. Let them know. Different here. That's the Celtics, so it's kind of weird. New York Forever. Yesers. Fear the Deer. Detroit Basketball. Make It Magic. True to Atlanta. See Red. Heat Nation. We the North. Nets World. Hive Mentality for the district. Hive Mentality. I'll let you go 1 for 3. Who's Hive Mentality?
Hornets.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Pelicans. It's not even because I even think some of it can be lazy that they'll do I don't know, Detroit basketball, but it's been like that for a while.
Detroit basketball.
Yeah,
it's iconic, you know.
But they couldn't do it. It's just hashtag Pelicans. Another thing they did is Willie Green, his name, in home games, if you go to NBA home game, they're announcing the starting 5. There's so much energy. And then at the end of the starting 5, they don't come out with the players, but it's and a head coach. Mm-hmm. I saw it at the Jazz game, Will Hardy or whatever.
Yeah.
They stopped announcing what's his name's Willie Green's name 2 home games before he got fired.
That's crazy.
Why? Not only is that one disrespectful, Willie Green was asked about it. He said he didn't have anything to do with it. He didn't know about it. They didn't even warn him about it. And that's like a weird, sneaky, like teenage
it's
girl
so-
thing to do.
It's so.
This is not a basketball
You know
organization.
what? You know what? You know what? I have a solution. I have the solution for the New Orleans Pelicans. Hire Nico Harrison. Perfect fit. Match made in heaven. Because he will do one of two things. And I say this knowing I could catch flack for this. He was a good GM before he traded Luka Doncic. He was a good GM. He made those moves to get PJ Washington and Daniel Gafford, which made them a title contender that year.
Even Najee Marshall has been a good pick.
His head just got a little too big, and then he traded Luka Doncic. So he'll do one of two things. He'll either reconstruct the roster in a positive way, or he'll trade Zion. Like, at least something will happen, okay? And then he can be petty, and the organization can be petty, and then they can have this whole will they, won't they dynamic, and that can at least give New Orleans fans something to look forward to. In their
Or
team.
they'll burn. Or I don't want the city to burn. New Orleans is a good city. Maybe like just the arena with no one in it. Maybe like the owners can burn. Like, I wouldn't be that mad. This has happened for far too long. The Pelicans, for how lucky they've gotten in NBA history, they are the worst franchise in NBA history. Because you can say the Hornets have never gotten like lucky. Like the Hornets haven't gotten the super talent.
You mean like the Hornets that became the Bobcats? The
Bobcats became the Hornets.
But the team that's been in New Orleans the whole time. Think about who they've had. They've had Chris Paul, Anthony Davis, Zion Williamson. They've had all this talent.
Each of them had a sidekick too.
Yeah.
Chris Paul had David West. Anthony Davis had like a Drew Holiday. He had
Boogie for a bit, which that was the one where they got really just unlucky. Where I think Boogie and AD looked really good together, and then Boogie got hurt. So.
That was unlucky. And then with Zion, they technically had Anthony Davis, and then they traded him. They got Brandon Ingram. They got Lonzo Ball, who they just let go, and then he eventually got hurt on the Bulls. And just that they've gotten. I'm not going to say they're the luckiest team ever, no, because also some of the injury luck is unfortunate. Some of it, I think, is bad medical staff.
And I'm also not saying you should stick with any of that stuff, but if you're a GM, they should have stuck with some of their moves for longer than they did, because they really just gave up on them as soon as they didn't work. But if you're a GM, you should believe in the moves that you make. It was almost like they're just playing like, if it works, we'll keep it. If it doesn't, we'll get rid of it. And obviously it's not working, so something's got to give.
I can't believe they didn't re-sign Lonzo Ball. That's like the one thing that I still, like, it just didn't make sense to me. That you trade Anthony Davis for a bunch of pieces that you don't re-sign. Mm-hmm. But good for, I'm not going to say good for Lonzo that he got out of it, because he got hurt 30 games later, unfortunately. But yeah. Okay. I mean, that's all the topics I have to talk about.
Yeah, I got nothing else really.
So if you stayed to watch to the end, we appreciate that. Go Hawks.
Mm-hmm. Go Hawks.
And even the Warriors, Dub Nation. We're both up right now.
Go all teams. I hope every team wins today.
I hope the Pistons lose today.
Why can't we all just be winners?
Why can't we all be winners? Because sports would be so lame if that happened.
No, thanks y'all for watching. We really appreciate it. The reception on our last video was incredible. We were really happy to see that, and it's all up from here.
Only up.
All uphill. When you guys engage with us and when you guys support us like that, it incentivizes us to do even better. I think both of us are like that. Obviously, you guys don't see it, but we spend like multiple hours before we even start recording, just like trying to perfect everything, like the setup and trying to get everything in the right place and working with what we have. And we want to make this the best possible product for you guys. So if you guys have suggestions, things we can do, I know people have talked about, for example, like lettering that we use in some of our fonts and the colors and stuff like that. We hear that and we see that stuff, and we want to make an actionable change to make this as good as it can be. So thank you for supporting us. And if you guys have anything you want to say, comment it. If you guys want to see more of us, subscribe. And if you guys like what we did here today, you know what to do.
All right. Yeah, that's all. Peace out, y'all.